guys, how's it going? It's Calvin Raab. So in real estate investing, oftentimes people have this misconception that you need a lot of money. You need a lot of capital to get involved in real estate investing. However, that's a big misconception. That's not true because there are many different ways that you can jump into real estate investing with very little money. And I'm going to prove that through this video. In this video, I'm going to go over 6 different ways that you can get into real estate investing for less than $100. All you need is $100 or less and you can get involved in real estate investing. So let's jump into it. Let's get into the first way that you can take that $100 and start your journey into real estate investing. Let's get into it. And of course, if you're new here, my name's Calvin Raab. Here I make videos all about personal finance. So if you're interested in anything like that, I would love it if you would subscribe. The first way that you can get into real estate investing for less than $100 is through real estate crowdfunding. Now, crowdfunding is a huge field within itself, and all it is it's essentially companies that you can find online that invest in real estate. And the way they invest in real estate is first by gathering money from the general public and getting money, collecting it all together, pooling it together, and then buying that investment property. And because they're getting it from so many people, you don't need as much money from each individual because it's being spread out amongst many, many different people. So one of the more popular ones out there that I'm a little more familiar with is Fundrise. However, that one has a $500 minimum, which breaks our $100 rule, so I can't use that one. But there are different places like Ground Floor. Ground Floor is a company that focus more on fix and flips, almost like burr loans of sorts, and that one is only a minimum of $10. So you can just look around. There's tons of different crowdfunding websites out there. As always, it's important to read reviews on these, make sure you can trust them, and also look at the terms and conditions, look at different fees and different things like that. But crowdfunding is a way that you can directly get into real estate and get your money working for you within this real estate space without having a whole lot of capital. The second way that you can get involved in real estate for less than $100 is through a REIT or REITs. This is R-E-I-T, Real Estate Investment Trust. And what you're doing here is it's sort of like crowdfunding, except now you are putting your money into a company that invests in real estate. And the cool thing is these REITs are traded on major stock exchanges oftentimes, so you can look online and see what different REITs are. There's a whole bunch of different REITs that are out there, and just find ones that is within your budget, that's maybe performed well. You may want to look at the underlying company, look at their financials, make sure everything's working out like you would analyze a normal stock. And you can invest in these REITs on oftentimes just see what your brokerage has to offer. There's different ones on TD Ameritrade, on Robinhood, a whole bunch of different REITs out there. But see which one you like, see which one works for you, and you can start making money through real estate by buying these REITs. Number 3 is buy a rental property. And as crazy as that sounds, you can buy a rental property for less than $100, oftentimes $0. And there's many different ways that you can do this. I highly recommend checking out Brandon Turner's book. It's the book on low and no money down, and he's also the host of the Bigger Pockets podcast, someone that I really look up to. And he wrote a book about different ways that you can invest in real estate with, as the title suggests, low and no money down. So I recommend checking that out. But as far as a few ways kind of right off the bat here, you can get involved with maybe seller financing. So if you buy a rental property, you make an agreement with the seller that they will carry the note and that you will then pay them certainly a monthly fee rather than maybe paying them a down payment, and hopefully the rental income will pay for that loan amount, and then you do not have to pay anything right then and there, and hopefully all the different prices and different expenses are covered. But you can also do things like private money, meaning you're getting money from a different individual, someone that you know that has deep pockets probably, and that they can give you a loan and you can go out and buy a rental property, or you can work out some maybe equity position for them or something like that. Many different ways to do that. You can also get involved with hard money, which is very similar to private money, except now you're going to have a much higher interest rate. They're oftentimes a little bit riskier, a little bit shorter, and you just really want to make sure you kind of know what you're doing. That way you don't run into a hard money trap of sorts. And I guess the same thing goes for private money as well. But I hope this kind of opened your eyes to show that you can buy a rental property with less than $100. Number 4, and this is you can invest in real estate books. So in numbers 1, 2, and 3, it was much more direct. Like this is how you are owning like a piece of this certain property, or you're buying a property as a whole. However, this is a little bit different in that you're investing more so in your education. However, it is your real estate estate education, so it's still within this field. And I think oftentimes if you invest in your education, you'll find that this is a much bigger return than maybe a lot of other things that you could do, a lot of more passive things that you can do. If you're much more active about your education, this little money that you can put in, and for $100 you can get a decent amount of books. If you go on Amazon, you can look for used books. I'm actually a big fan of Audible, so I listen to Audible in the car. I just listened to David Green's new book about BRRRR, Buy, Rehab, Rent, Refinance, Repeat. I just read a whole book on that that whole system, and that was really cool because it's Audible and it's amazing. At the end of the week, you're like, man, I made it through a book this week, and you're like, wow, I didn't even think I had time for that. But you drive a lot more than you think you do. And right now I'm making it through the Millionaire Real Estate Investor. So that's what I'm working through right now, and Audible's a great, I just highly recommend it. It's really made a big difference for me. But anyway, getting back to the main conversation here, you can invest in different real estate books, invest in your real estate education, and that oftentimes will have a very good return on that investment. Number 5 is rent out a room. So oftentimes when people think of rental properties, they oftentimes jump to the conclusion that, oh, they have to go buy another house, they have to buy another rental property, and they will oftentimes forget that, hey, we got a rental property right where you're living, and maybe you got some real estate in there, maybe it's a room or something like that that you can rent out, and it doesn't cost you to rent it out, meaning, oh, well, you have to have different expenses, like, oh, you may have to pay someone to clean it and different things like that, but hopefully you're making enough on top to cover those expenses. You can get involved with different things like Airbnb and get involved with real estate in that way. So this is oftentimes how people jump into this. You know, you can get involved with things like house hacking. You can check out the video I made about house hacking, how you can live rent-free. But this is something where you can rent out a property and hopefully it saves you money in the end, and who knows, maybe you get to the point where you are not paying to live anymore. Number 6, and this is a huge field within itself. There are YouTube channels dedicated to this, and that is wholesaling. Now, wholesaling is essentially the idea of finding a distressed seller, someone that has a reason to sell their home. You can get it under contract for a low price, and then you can go and sell it to an investor for a little bit of this finder's fee or a markup, and you can make money through there. Now, there's so many different ways to do this. You've seen all the commercials there. Don't think that this is easy. Everything that I've read about wholesaling, these commercials make it seem like it's just a breeze and that if you take their course, you'll all of a sudden become extremely rich and different things like that. That's not the case. It is very difficult. You have to be a very good people person and you have to be very dedicated to wholesaling if you want to make a good income from it. But it is something you can get into with very, very little money. You know, you may have to send out some flyers and different things like that, but in the end, you're not like buying a property or anything like that, so you don't need a ton of capital there, but it is something that if you have the necessary skills to succeed at it, you can make a lot of money wholesaling. All right, so that will wrap it up. Those are 6 different ways that you can jump into real estate and real estate investing with very little money. However, that is by far not the only ways that you can get into real estate investing. So there are so many more, and I kind of want to turn the question to you guys and ask, what are some other ways that you can get involved with real estate investing without a ton of money? So the challenge here for this video was less than $100. So let me know in the comments below. I will be reading through there. I'll be talking to you guys, and this is a fun topic. This is interesting. This probably, if you have your good comment, can maybe open the door for someone, open someone's eyes to show that, hey, they can jump into real estate investing with very little money. But that will wrap it up. Thank you guys so much for watching. I look forward to seeing your comments below. But that will wrap it up. As always, my name is Raab, and if you're new here, I make videos all about personal finance, and if you subscribe, you will find new videos here every single Monday and Friday, so be sure to look out for those. But all in all, that will wrap it up. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, my name is Raab, and I'll see you soon. Bye, guys.